Welcome to the first episode of I Read It Online, brought to you by TFT Supplies, where we look at random topics on Reddit and we discuss it. We'll see how it goes. And Ben has seen these before. Amanda and I, Tyler, have not. So let's see what happens. Ben, what is something that I read it or you read it online?
Okay, so this one is actually nothing new. We've heard this discussion many times, but it'd be interesting to hear your guys' take on it. So this one is, when two people are on a date, who should always pay first, or should each person pay their own? Or how would you handle this situation personally?
Ladies first?
Okay. So I think whoever asked the date, or like even in a friendship, like, hey, do you want to go to dinner? You should be willing to pay for them because you asked them. Who knows if they're broke or not, you know?
Yeah.
But if it's like a romantic date, I personally would offer to pay half. And if they say, no, I would like to pay for it, that's fine.
So going back to the first part, if it was friends, and you said like you went to dinner somewhere, you would think the person that did the inviting would be willing to pay for both.
At least if I invited, yeah.
I would never really think that if I invited someone, want to go to dinner.
I know a lot of broke people, so.
maybe that's it.
I feel like that's a really good safe rule of thumb. Like, if you invited them, maybe you should be the one that pays. You know what I'm saying? And then next time, maybe like they invite you, and then so on and so on. But like me, when back before I met my wife or whatever, I mean, I was just happy that they were there. So I had no problem paying. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even a thought that came to mind. Like oh man, like there was nothing expected out of it. It was just a thing that I just didn't even really think twice about it. But it's so weird that like how sometimes this is a question, because you're like, what are people expecting? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why is there like disappointment involved or something like that? Like, to me, like, I think someone who asked this question sounds like they might be expecting other things, and I think that's where the problem lies and stuff like that. But I think when you, like Amanda, like, I think when you invite somebody out, I think you should, offer to pay. They can reject it and they can pay their own half or whatever. But I just think it should just end there and nothing should be beyond that.
It's been a long time. I've married a long time, but I recall I never thought about it ahead of time. I always kind of assumed, maybe I'm an old-fashioned guy like that, I would have to like pay for dinner. If you invite like a woman to go to dinner, I expected to pay. I don't remember at all if Karen said like, oh, I'll pay my share or not. I don't remember. She's told me before since then that she never really liked people buying her drinks and stuff like that. Then it's like, then they feel like you owe them something afterwards. So I could see that of it.
Do you think there is a gentleman mentality with it, where some guys they feel like they need to be a gentleman as possible, so they feel like that is just part of a gender role? Men are just expected to pay when they go out on a date, and that's just how it should be, whether any logic to it or not. That's just how. Do you think that is a factor?
In a lot of cases, yeah.
I think absolutely, yeah.
But the thing there is like what Tyler just said, how Karen was like, you feel like you're afraid they might expect you to owe them something. So there's that too. And so do you bring up like, do you expect anything from me? Like, you know what I mean? What kind of conversation is that?
Yeah, it's very hard. It's very hard, and I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to it, because it's just like everyone's different, and some people are comfortable with that or whatever. I don't know. I feel like how you proceed into the date will say a lot.
Like you say, gentleman mentality. That's true, because I am very much for equal rights for people, and we're all capable of being independent and everything at the same time. Like there's a weird dynamic to walk, because you want to be, not you want, I don't know who wants to be, like I would want to be a gentleman and be that version of it, but the wrong person might think that I can't pay for dinner now. I think I can pay for my own dinner. Like that's not what I said.
Yeah, it's so tricky because everyone's different. Everyone has different experiences and stuff like that. Like the person you're on a date with could have had a traumatic experience from a bad date where, you know, she didn't pay her own way, and then the person was a jerk later on, you know, because they expected.
I've heard about those, and then like duck out the bathroom window.
There's like nightmare scenarios, but like the only thing you can do is just prove yourself, you know, just prove this.
Yeah.
I think it's how you proceed after that. What are your actions? What are you saying? Are you like, okay, now we have to go home now, or you have to, you know, do this. I think it's how you handle it afterwards. Honestly, I think it should just be a dinner date, leave it at that. Don't expect anything in return.
I learned later on down the path, because women, I don't know, I gotta speak for women, but my experience with women, they're complicated. And trying to figure everything out, like it took me a while to pick up on the fact that, like, Karen, she would ask me, what are you gonna get? Like, I don't know yet. But she was testing the waters on what I was going to get, so she would have something in line. Like if I was getting like steak and lobster, she'd be like, oh, I guess I'll get that too.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna get the cheapest thing on the menu, and then she does that to kind of feel out like, well, what level are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a long time to pick up on that. She's like, that's why I asked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, to take this a little bit farther with that, how do you feel about ordering for your date?
I'm against it.
Good.
Yeah, no, because I feel like,
And the lady will have the lamb chops.
because even if she says this is her favorite thing, that might not be what she wants that in particular time. You know what I'm saying?
I've
Like,
had this experience where they were like, oh, what are you gonna get? And I was like, oh, this, and they were like, I will have this, and then she will have this, and I'm like, I am fully capable of ordering for myself. Like, I wonder if that's part of that gentleman mentality.
What do you think the intent of that was? Because I believe intent matters a whole lot.
Yeah.
You think it was him thinking like she's not capable, or
No, I don't. That was just my thought.
Yeah.
Women are
Yeah.
complicated.
They
But
are, as are men.
Yeah.
I think we're simpler though. I think
Yeah.
we're simpler.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was to like establish dominance.
Dominance. Yeah,
Maybe.
it could be. There are dudes like that out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they want to speak for you. Maybe that could be an early red flag that they were like.
It was a huge red flag because I
Yeah.
actually dated that person. So
You look back on it like that might have
like,
been a
oh, there were so many red flags. You already know about that, you guys. But yeah, no, don't order for me.
Yeah, see, it's like my mentality when I go to a casino. I take $50. I expect to lose $50. Now, if I win something or hit a jackpot, that's great. But $50, when that $50 is gone, it's gone, and I'm happy with that.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
I kind of feel like from a male perspective, it's kind of the barrier to entry as far as like, if you want to have this woman's company, that's kind of just the cost you pay.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's like, it gets you in the door, so to say.
right.
And that's all there is to it.
Yeah,
It gets you in
it's-
the door.
Right, and then just be willing to see how things play out. You
Yeah.
know, because you just never know. But okay, all right, that was a good conversation.
For the
What?
last
Oh.
word,
Go ahead.
no one owes anyone anything ever.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a business loan or something.
Yeah.
But that's it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well said. All right, so this next one, and this one made me laugh. What is a strong indicator that someone is dumb?
Oh, God. A strong indicator someone is dumb.
Do you want like a real answer or
Yeah, be real. Like, let's hear it. Like,
Tyler, you go ahead first.
I'm
So I
trying
can
to think of
something
one.
better than what I already thought.
You might have something in your mind if you already saw these.
I've heard. No, I didn't read any of the comments because I wanted to be, you
Yeah.
know, and then also I wanted to speak from what I really think. But but I've heard you say before, like a big indicator is when someone thinks they're really smart.
Oh, yeah.
And then they know everything, because then that's telling you that they don't know everything. I feel like the more humble you are, the more like
The Theunningkruger.
the more you're willing to be like, no, I don't know everything. Like, I feel like that is a sign of intelligence, because you don't know anything and you're willing to look up things.
Right, yeah.
You know, I think whoever told you that is pretty smart, because that does sound true.
You said that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I don't think
Oh,
I'm
they're really smart.
No, I don't think I'm smart. But I think you're right. It's the Theunningkruger effect. If you don't know it, Google it up. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But the smarter you are, the less you think you know.
Yeah.
And the dumber you are, the more you think you know, because the more you go up the levels, you realize just how little you know about so many things. And the smartest people realize just what sliver of knowledge you actually know, because they realize how much is actually out there. I always think of it's almost like the example of like, if you look at like a sports progression, right? Like if you're in 8th grade, you're a big baller on the basketball team. You get to high school, suddenly everybody on the team was a big baller in 8th grade. And then you get to college, and then all of them were big ballers in high school. And like, you go up the level, you keep on realizing there's so many fish in this pond, and you keep going up, and then you just realize you're just this little piece, and there's so much out there bigger than you all the time that you never have any idea.
Yeah. See, I don't ever really think anyone's dumb. Hard-headed might be a better, because a lot of people when they think they're right about something, there's no convincing them that they're not. They're just very hard-headed. They're just not. Like, I think that's separate from being dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know. I don't really know how you can really tell. I mean, because like we all don't. None of us know everything. And you can ask me to cite my sources and stuff like that. I can't tell you where I learned that from, or where I found it, or who I heard said it, or something like that. It's just something that stuck me, and I felt like it made sense. Now, did it really make sense? I don't know.
Well, it probably did make sense.
Yeah.
And then, like, as you go on living and having conversations, you understand it differently and better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I do think, like, when you do have a chance to cite your sources, you always should. Because, like, I feel like that is a number one way to validate what you're saying. Is it's the best way, because like if you're not a true professional in your field or anything, if you're just someone on Facebook or Reddit or something like that, and you're spewing nonsense, people are just not going to really. You have to be able to cite your sources, let people know where you got that from, and then I think that in itself, knowing that you took the time to do that, you come across as intelligent.
Well, it depends if it's a credible source.
That is true. That is true. There's some trickiness to it, whatever. But like, yes, if you're getting your information from actual credible sources and stuff like that, but also give people the opportunity to let you know that where you're getting that from is not legit too, because some people need to hear that.
Whether they believe it or not is another thing.
Yeah.
But you can give them the opportunity.
Yeah. So, but I don't really know how you tell when someone is dumb. Maybe that's just something that I don't know.
Yeah.
It just comes. There's really no rules to it or anything to figure out.
And what really is dumb to begin with?
Yeah, because like
this is not a philosophical conversation.
well, you know what though? Some people say like, oh well, they take too long to answer. Some people are slow. That does not mean they're dumb. That does not mean like me. Like if you ask me something, I need to like think about it, because I really want to give a good answer, and I don't have that at the top of my head at the moment.
Yes, and then especially like if you're put on the spot, it's kind of like
it's way different.
So
you know how many times like we've been in discussions or debates, and then later on when we're in the car, in the shower, like, why didn't I think of that? How they think I'm dumb.
And that's like, and that's practice and stuff like that. I think about that with like Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy and stuff. I feel it's probably easier on your couch watching TV than it is with like a studio audience and cameras on you and lights, like on the spot for actual things. Because being on the spot is so true. It's way different trying to perform on the spot versus relax in your own way.
You're so right. The radio the other day, they were trying to figure out like, does this person have blonde hair? Is this person this age? And I'm like, you guys, duh, it's this person. Yeah. But like, I'm not there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not fair just for me to be like, come on, you got this.
Performing under pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. All
What
right.
else we got?
All right. The next one is, okay, what should everyone experience in their lifetime? Now, I know this is very subjective and everything.
That's a lot, yeah. You could go shallow or real deep with that.
Yeah, this is really subjective. Me, I would say, what is it that you really want to do? What are your interests in? And then honestly, just do that.
I would say happiness.
Oh, yeah?
I think a lot of people put other stuff on a pedestal. And I think if you're going to put something on a pedestal, happiness is a really good thing to put on a pedestal to aim for.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, there was a moment, I guess it was into when I became an adult or whatever, there's a time where you kind of just stop caring as much as what other people think.
Oh, yeah.
The older
You
get,
just
less
kind of
care.
stop caring. Like what you wear, the music you listen to, what you watch, what your actual interests are. You don't care what people think of that. You're into that, so it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that is true. That's true
super
happiness.
true. I remember hearing that as a kid. Like older people would say, like the older you get, just the less you care. Just the less you care. And it's true. Like I can see differences in my parents, but I was like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Off of any number of topics, like I don't care. You just stop caring, and you be I guess what's a truer version of yourself.
Yes.
I think that depends on you and your life and everything. Because some people go on caring forever what other people think, and trying to impress other people, blah blah blah. And also subjectively, what is happiness?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you said, like doing what you want to do. That's not necessarily going to make you happy.
No, but I just feel like, you know, we all have our desires and our interests and stuff, things that we always think about wanting to do, and for whatever reason, we actually get in our own way and we don't do those things.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like sometimes just don't overthink it, or come up with goals that will help you do what you really want to do. If you want to go on a trip to Hawaii, you can go to Hawaii. Yes, it's going to cost a lot of money, but you can work towards it and actually do it, and then actually have that experience and stuff like that. I just feel like follow your interests, you know, and that's what's going to make you happy. You're not going to make yourself happy doing what other people want to do.
And once in a while, try things you don't think you're gonna like, because once in a while you do like them.
Yeah.
I got to know I liked olives till like 2 years ago, and I'm almost 40 years old.
Yeah. And also I think an open mind has definitely helped me a lot and stuff like that. You know, saying no to everything. You kind of, well, I'm going to look at this, but like you kind of hinder yourself. You hinder your own life by constantly saying, no, that's not a good idea. No, that's not safe. No, we can't afford that. Instead of saying, no, we can't for this, just say, we can, but if we do this.
Yeah. What do I have to do to make this happen?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like mentality is just, but as far as happiness, I feel like that's kind of what you just need.
It's not who is going to let me, it's who's going to stop me.
Yeah, and you're like Ben's explaining,
Well,
like you're just in your own
Who's going to stop me
way.
right there? It's true.
Yeah.
You're in your own way half the time.
Yeah, you really are in your way, because I mean, you just overthink things. You just come up with obstacles that are not even really there. A lot of it is fear.
Fear and insecurity.
I'd say fear is
Insecurity, for sure. Yeah.
100%.
Afraid to fail. I think something that everyone should experience, and it doesn't really have anything to do with them, is compassion and understanding.
Yeah.
Because if you have never had that, and then you have someone come to you and say, tell me, explain to me why this, why that, I'm here for you lovingly, with no judgment, a lot of people don't get that.
No.
And so I think everyone deserves to feel that, and then they can understand what they deserve better in their life.
Yeah. And that probably is a lot of parents, right? Where that comes from the most. I heard someone say one time, and I think it's true, like your kids are going to learn a whole lot more from what they see you do, from what they hear you tell them, like the way you live and what you do. And that's one of those things, like as you get older, like I remember now as a kid, it never clicked once, but I remember like as a kid, both my parents who worked full-time jobs were always at like every single activity all the time. And as a kid, it never really stood out. As an adult, knowing like the work routines of people and the life, like, oh, that really, looking back on that stands out, is that was a lot of time for a lot of activities. It wasn't like they were splitting up with me and my sister, like they were both always there.
Yeah.
And it didn't click until I got older. So you have like kids that go, wow, it is a grind to do all this and then to do all of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've definitely, like, especially since being a parent and everything, like I've definitely had a better appreciation and, you know, for all that, for sure.
all those sayings that like you hear from old people when you're young, they don't make any sense. Like, walk a mile in somebody's shoes, you'll understand a lot more. And it's true.
It all makes sense, and that's why I always tell my son, I was like, I know this makes no sense right now, but later on, it's going to make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Trust me. You just got to trust me.
And it's the stuff your parents told you when you were a kid you didn't believe.
Right. Yeah.
Someday you'll understand.
Possibly. Yeah.
I remember that. Like, someday you'll understand.
Yeah.
When you have kids of your own, you'll understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sure. And then you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you do.
All right, another one?
Yep. Last one.
Last one. Okay, so this is a fun one. Okay, what is your go-to alternative cuss word? So not actually a cuss word, but what is something you can say in front of your kids or at work and it's safe, but it really helps?
Well, I don't cuss much for real, but I would say it's really like we have this coffee table at home, and it has these. It's a square, but it has like these corners that can jut out. And we've had it for about 3 years, and probably like twice a week, I walk my knee into the corner of the table. Really? And the kids the other day are like, "Dad, you gonna say really?" I'm like, yeah. And I didn't notice it until they expected me to say it, and that's what I say. Really?
Really?
Oh.
That's equivalent to mine. Are you serious?
I do that one too sometimes. Yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Now, Amanda's probably the sailor in the group here of the actual curse words.
Sure.
But the clean version of curse words.
You guys hear me say it a lot, frig.
Yeah.
I'll say, what the frig? Or like, that's friggin' ridiculous. And also, what the world? I say, what the world? Especially in front of my nieces. Because one of them called her sister the B word last night. Got in a lot of trouble. But yeah, so.
How old is she?
4.
4?
And called the 5-year-old the B word. Yeah.
What was it contextually accurate?
Oh, I guarantee it. Yeah. She did. She said, "You are a B." And so the older one went running to her mom, of course. Yeah. So, and like, I don't say that word, and neither does my sister. Who knows where she heard it, but watch what you say.
Yeah.
What the frig?
Say it one time. It's on repeat after that.
One that I like, even though I don't use it because I don't really ever have the context to use it, the appropriate whatever. But it's the Monday to Friday instead of the MF word. Instead of MF, you say, "I'm tired of these Monday to Friday kids," or these Monday to Friday. I heard that on. You ever watch the movie Snakes on a Plane? Well, on TV, they play the edited version.
Is that what they say?
They play the edited version. And then Samuel Jackson, instead of saying, "I am tired of these snake," he says, "I am tired of these Monday to Friday snakes."
That's a great one, because the other one you hear a lot on TV when they do the words is mother loving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mother loving.
Mother loving snakes on this mother loving plane.
Yeah.
No, I do. Well, go ahead.
Or if you're a fan of rap and you listen to that on the radio, they always say, "What?"
Yeah.
I don't give a what.
I don't give a what.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do curse way too much, but I don't think about it. You know what I mean? So frig has worked out really well, but at home sometimes I'll be like, "What the F?" or "Gee, D it," and my niece from the other room will be like, "What is it, Mama?" And like Bear's used to it. You know what I mean? "What, Mama?"
A few weeks ago, I was stressed out about something, and I was hooking up this like Roku stick to a TV in the basement, and I couldn't get you're behind the TV, right? You can never tell which way the HDMI thing's supposed to be. And I said, "What the F?" And I did say "what the F." It wasn't the actual version, but then Carter, my son, was right behind me. Goes, "Daddy, what does what the F mean?" I'm like, "I'll tell you later."
Right. Like, it means dang
It means Daddy was frustrated.
Okay, all right.
So that will wrap up, we call it, I Read It Online.
Yeah.
I Read It Online. Tune in next time. Thanks for watching and listening.
That was good.
Yeah.